Good evening, everybody. This is Daily Recall for May 27th. May 27th, 2026. I'm Tom Stoukas coming to you from Sarnia, Ontario. Summer is coming. Summer's coming too. Let's see what's going on today. Not a lot going on. It's like almost like, when the summer, the dog days of summer and there's no news, it's almost like that's already started. There hasn't been like anything crazy going on. Just the usual third worldization of Canada, but no big huge events. No nothing really interesting. Just everything going to shit. That's all. Nothing earth shattering. So let's look at what happened today. This is bad, of course. A Toronto man. This is not a Toronto man, but sex torsion. Toronto man gets 33 years for sex torsion of 145 U.S. children. See, in the U.S., they give you a good sentence, 33 years. He's going to do hard time. Someone will probably take him out. Look at this guy. Canadian man. Ramanan Damalanga Ding Dong. No. What's his name? What the hell's his name? Ramanan Pathmanathan. I think it's a Sri Lankan or Tamil or some shit. But Indian subcontinent, of course. Look at this guy. They just have this look about them. Some of these guys. Okay. So yeah, this guy was a Canadian, I guess. I have a feeling he came to Canada. He wasn't born in Canada, but after being extradited to the United States, he was sentenced today to 33 years in a federal prison for running a sextortion scheme that targeted and victimized more than 145 children. I don't know exactly what he did. I'm trying to find out. Okay, let's hear. This is right from the FBI. A Canadian man has been sentenced to 33 years. Oh, no. Come on. Okay, a Canadian man has been sentenced to 33 years in federal prison for targeting over 100 children across the U.S. in one of FBI Houston's largest sextortion cases. For years, Ramanan, 40, used multiple social media accounts to contact at least 145 girls and boys, demanding them to engage in sexually explicit contact. If they declined, he threatened to send compromising images to the children's friends or family. This was a years long, and so basically he's a sex extortionist for kids, like just lowest of the low, basically. Gets them to do stuff and gets money off. I don't know. Just a total scammer. Not Canadian. This is the thing they bring over here. Like, this is demented stuff. Like, this is demonic stuff. And why would we want to bring this to Canada? Like, sex pests, sextortionists, rapists, leerers. Summer's coming. Someone told me they're already leering at the parks, checking out the kids at the park. That's crazy. You gotta worry. As a parent, you just want to go to the park. Take your kids to the park. You gotta worry about this shit now. So yeah. Canadian man, or Canadian of convenience man. Thankfully, the FBI takes care of business. If it was up to the Canadian justice system, he'd be serving house arrest. That's totally true. 33 years is hefty. Like in Canada, the guy would have been on bail. It's crazy. They really throw the book at you in the States. That's the one thing I like about the States is if you're a victim of a crime, most of the time, the person, if they catch him, he's gonna do some hard time. And the U.S. prisons, they're not country clubs. Like some of these Canadian prisons, they baby the prisoners, but in the U.S., it's hard time in some of these federal prisons. And this guy, Ramadan Ding Dong, I don't know if he's gonna last 33 years. So that's the. But yeah, Toronto guy. Now I don't know. Was he extradited? Okay. I don't even know how this guy, like, when did he come to Canada? Let me see. Of Toronto, Canada. I want to know when he came to Canada. Okay. You mean the South? He lived in Toronto, Ontario, pretended to be a teenage boy for 7 years, luring minor girls and boys, some as young as 6 years old. Directed children to expose themselves and engage in sexual acts. Plus, he sent them porn. I'm going to say rock. Anyway, he's not a Canadian. He's a scumbag that we keep letting into Canada. But sextortion, like, you got to worry about him at the park. You got to worry about him on the Uber. Now you got to worry about him online, of course. Everywhere. They're everywhere. Okay. Scammers. Okay. It's just everywhere, man. It just never ends, man. Okay. This is videos are going around. This Indians, like people sounding the alarm on Indians destroying the rivers and lakes of Canada. So they talk about these Hindu idols. They put them in the water. So the idea is they dissolve and the cycle of life, all that, whatever. But, you've seen the rivers in India. They're pretty nasty. Like literally dead bodies floating by. Shit, like direct sewage. Plus, so I don't know if the clay idols are probably the least of the problems in the Indian rivers. But it's not a good thing, obviously, for this to be happening. I looked it up and it said, when's this? I want to know when they start throwing this stuff in the water so we can keep an eye out. And it's depending on the lunar whatever cycles. Primarily during Ganesh Chaturthi, whatever, in late August or early September. Hindu month of Bhadrapada, whatever the fuck. Alright. So basically, this one for 2026, mid to late September, says clay and other idols, now often eco-friendly ones encouraged due to pollution concerns, are carried in processions with music and chanting, then immersed. This is widespread in India and Hindu communities worldwide. Okay, so. And then there's other little festivals that they do that, so. It's bad. I think it should be made illegal in Canada right away, but it won't be, of course. It won't be. Let's see this. This is all the different beaches. So I don't know. Maybe it goes on all year long. Who knows? Or it's going to go on heavy for that 1 month. But it's not just the idols. That's just the garbage, the mentality, throwing garbage everywhere. And you've seen the rivers of trash in India. And I just shudder to think that could happen. Even remote chance of that happening. So let's look at this. I like this. Okay, let's watch a little of this. Oh, that's the Titanic's. But it's just literally you're littering and you're polluting the water. I don't know how they're supposed to dissolve. I guess they dissolve. Anyway. If you're at the beach and you see this happening, you'll know what's going on now. Saga Beach. It's their beach now. They're going to destroy that beach. There's a lot of... Oh, all right. But they should make this say that it's illegal. Look, I've said this before, like the Canadian Fisheries, Department of Fisheries and Oceans, whatever, they're really strict. You can't do nothing to any water without asking them. But here these guys can do whatever they want. All right. And I'm pretty sure they're not biodegradable. They probably got the Amazon model made in China. Probably full of lead. All right. Okay, we don't have just Indians to worry about, I guess. I mean, the rampant Indian immigration. But now we got Africans who love Canada. They love us because of the food banks, I guess. They're doing the same scams as the Indians. I was supposed to give food for the food bank today to the kids for school, and I forgot. Damn it. So what's this? 2 African immigrants land in Canada, and they're all over the food bank, praising it for all the free stuff Canada just hands out to anybody. They're supposed to show proof of funds before they even get in, but nah, they run straight for the free stuff. Well, real destitute Canadians line up behind them. There's a new push by immigration to grant visas and PRs to Africans with very low CRS scores to prioritize French migrants. Don't let immigration fool you with their claims that they're reducing immigration. They're not. They're giving out citizenship like it's candy. Bill C3 and inviting low-skilled migrants to come in. All right, let's see what this guy's saying. So we saw the videos of these are different African influencers. I don't know. You get the idea. But we saw like the Indian food bank, like. And this is why the food banks are running out of food, because people are using it as supermarkets, not as emergency food. They're using it as supermarkets, and they're not set up to be supermarkets. And people in Africa are watching this. Come on. If you're in a village in Africa and you're watching this, you're saying, God damn it, I gotta go to Canada. So yeah, it's not good. But that's what happens, you know. That's what happens. Look at the food. No wonder the food bank's running out of food. All right, so we need to ban immigration from Africa. ASAP. That's my Africa. Ban immigration from Africa. Latest in the series. All right. Sorry. It's a lot of... There's like 1.5 billion. And they all want to come here to get the free food. And then here's more money. Canada spent $722 million on healthcare for asylum seekers in 2024 to 25, according to a new report from the Parliamentary Budget Office. All right. 74,000 failed claimants are still receiving full benefits of the temporary federal health care program, a third of whom are wanted on removal orders. So basically, they failed as refugees, which is pretty bad because in Canada, they accept a lot of refugees. Anybody with a sad story can get in. So even the failed refugees are getting taken care of, and they're not going to leave. They're going to stay. They're not going to leave. So that's almost $1 billion almost for. And they have this they're pushing this mentality that it's our duty to take care of everybody in the world. It's ridiculous. It's a horrible mentality because you'll go broke and you'll flood your streets with criminals, leeches and parasites. Not trying to sound hard-hearted, but maybe it's a little soft-hearted is what got us into this trouble, being a little too soft-hearted. All right, now this is the funniest thing here. As I said a while ago, Ontario we're gonna get a Indian premier the way we're going, and here we are. We got this guy running for the Liberal leadership, and I don't want him as the Liberal leader because he's gonna run the place like India, even though I know he was born here. But he's got a lot of other strikes against him. He's a former Trudeau cabinet minister, which should be disqualify him right there. And he worked at Rogers as a bigwig at Rogers, so that's another one. And now he's an Indian, of course. So he's got a lot of strikes against him. And he's not saying anything like this slogan, Ontario was once a leader, let's take the lead again. Like, it's not very inspiring. But can you imagine? This guy's running for the Liberal leadership. And the Liberal leadership, I wish it was earlier, because it's not till like November. And he's gonna bus in all those students, international students, and whatever, Tim Horton workers to vote for him. So he might not win. But at the moment, I don't really see anybody, establishment guy, coming out to go for leadership. I think they want him to have it because they think the Indian vote maybe will get him back into government. I don't know. But I was joking about it. I said, we're going to have an Indian premier the way things are going, and here we are. I don't know. Like, I'm almost positive he's going to turn us into India. Like, he's going to do his best. I mean, our guys are, Doug Ford's doing his best to do it, so I don't think it's the right direction to go in. Let's just say that much. If we want to not get turned into India. Let's see it. Let's hear from him, the horse's mouth here. So this is what's his name? Navdeep Bains, running to restore the Ontario deal. I don't know what the Ontario deal is.
What kind of Ontario are we leaving our kids? It's the question I hear across this province.
Really?
It's the question I ask myself. I grew up in an Ontario that worked on a simple deal. You show up, you work hard, and Ontario gives you the opportunity to build a good life. A job that pays well, a doctor when you need one, an affordable home in a safe neighborhood, and a school that does right by your kid. After nearly a decade of Conservative governments, a whole generation is falling behind, and we're being told it's good enough. It is not. You're waking up every day to help build this province. You're still holding up to your end of that deal. Your government is not. I grew up in an Ontario where we built things. My first job was at Ford in Oakville. Years later, I served in federal cabinet and fought for the auto sector through the first Trump tariffs and brought jobs home to Ontario. I left that work for my family. Today, I'm coming back for the same reason. For my daughters and every person in Ontario who feels left behind. Je me présente pour diriger
he speaks French too, no.
Ontario, pour mettre en place le pacte qu'on trouvait dans la province dans laquelle j'ai grandi. I'm running to lead the Ontario Liberal Party, to put the Ontario deal back on the table. L'Ontario était autrefois un leader, redevenant un leader. Ontario used to lead. Let's lead again.
Let's lead again. Let's lead. Lead us right into, oh God. I think they want him. I think the Liberals want this guy to be the leader, but he doesn't sound very exciting. I'm not very inspired. But yeah, it's going to be hilarious to watch this. Because basically under the Liberal rules, anybody resident, even a temporary resident, as long as they have a valid Liberal membership, can vote for the Liberal leader. So there's going to be a lot of new Liberal members being signed up, I have a feeling. We'll see. You know, I mean, a lot can happen. That Eric Lombardi says he's running too, but he ain't going to get the Indian vote, but judging by his immigration comments. So we'll see which direction the Liberal Party goes, and I think they're going to go with this Ravdeep guy, or Navdeep, whatever. I want to see. Let's see some of the comments. I'd like to see some of the comments here. Kind of a boring. I mean, he has the charisma of like a wet paper bag, but there's that. Allow me to explain your country's identity. Of course, he's not going to mention immigration. You're not Canadian, go home. Degenerate gambler. Yeah, I want to see what happened. What's this? All right. Deport. Anyway. We'll see. But I want to see. I want to see what Grok says here. Controversy, I don't know. I know he did something wrong. All those cabinet ministers, these Indian cabinet ministers, can be sketchy. I mean, they're all sketchy, even the non-Indian ones, but... All right. Because I have a feeling they're going to put this guy's Liberal leader. They don't want that Lombardi guy. So he's a Canadian Liberal, okay, former federal minister of innovation, science, and industry under Trudeau for 6 years. He represented ridings in Mississauga and Brampton. It's shocking. Left federal politics in 2021, citing family reasons. Worked in the private sector, including Rogers. That's enough to get him canceled right there, Rogers. Okay. He has faced several controversies during and after his time in federal office, primarily related to allegations of Khalistani sympathies. I hate those guys. And let's see, I can't read this. I can't. Okay, anyway, I'm going to have to read off the screen. So he had allegations of Khalistani sympathies, local land deal, and oversight of a federal funding agency. Okay. Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amarinder Singh and others publicly accused Bains and fellow Sikh Canadian Minister Harjit Sajjan, that's of pro-Khalistani leanings. Anyway, so you know what I'm talking. This is what I'm talking about. Exactly. He's going to turn us into India. Totally turn us into India. Sorry. Like, when he was a federal cabinet minister, he's involved with all this crap with the Indians. So, what else? Bains and then MP Raj Grewal were implicated in a controversial real estate transaction in Brampton. A provincially owned property was sold to private investors with Liberal ties, who then flipped it back to the city at a $1 million higher cost to taxpayers. The mayor's aide allegedly shared confidential details with Bains and Grewal. Brampton Council referred the matter to the RCMP. Bains denied wrongdoing or improper involvement. Slush Fund. As Innovation Minister Baines oversaw appointments to Sustainable Development Technology Canada, faced major scrutiny for conflicts of interest. Board members approved around $400 million in funding to their own or connected companies. $400 million. So he's faced accusations of cronyism and poor oversight. All right. Earlier in... All right. So I wonder if they'll talk about his history. I mean, sketchy. Sounds sketchy. Shocking. So we'll keep an eye on that Liberal leadership race. So far, so it looks like that Eric Lombardi guy who's saying some good stuff on immigration and rules for voting on party nominations for non-Canadians. Saying some good stuff, so we'll see how that race unfolds. All right, next. Here's more video of the Hindu shit. I don't know why my Zoom's not working. It's weird. Maybe it's just pictures. After, or different screens, whatever. All right. So this is another video. Let's watch it, I guess. On the
increased nutrients contribute to algae. I posted a video yesterday about the immersion of statues that happen every year all across Canada. Of course, I received the regular death and rape threats in my DMs. I think that a lot of people watching didn't even have any idea that this was happening. Some idols are clearly made out of plaster of Paris. Some try to market theirs as eco-friendly. But with thousands dumped everywhere across Canada every year, it doesn't matter. Because something is compostable doesn't mean it should be dumped into the ecosystems. The increased nutrients contribute to algae. Some paints have heavy metals. Cloths and other offerings are often sunk with it. Most of them are just very cheap imports from China. Not exactly the image of a handmade mud statue that's conveyed in the public debate. This happens all around Canada. We're a people that's proud of our natural resources. Enough is enough. It's time to put our foot down. Now let me leave you with these images and our beautiful anthem.
Alright, that's just more videos. So summer's coming, we'll see how many videos, but I don't know if there's, unless they go crazy in September maybe, I don't know. Alright, here's another story. Oh my god. Community center employee accused of confining and sexually assaulting minors in Vaughan. What's his name? Charles Manekam. So I guess it's some Indian Tamil name. Who knows? It's an Indian subcontinent. Let's just lump them all together. Community center employee accused of... Okay. A former employee of the city of Vaughan is facing multiple sexual offense charges following an investigation by York Regional Police. Police say the alleged incidents occurred on April 30th at a community center near Dufferin and Clark Avenue. See, you can't even go to a community center. What did I do here? All right, sorry guys. Two minors were reportedly approached. Okay. Two minors reportedly approached by an employee who told them they needed to speak privately because they were being too loud. Investigators allege the victims were taken to a room where they were forcibly confined. When the minors attempted to leave, one of the victims was allegedly sexually assaulted. So these are just, oh my God. Two minors. I don't even know how old they are. Neither victim suffered physical injuries. So she was sexually assaulted, but no injuries. 65-year-old Von man was arrested and charged in connection with the investigation. Okay. No, he wasn't employed at the time of his arrest, but I think at the time he was. Look at this. Look at this guy. So there you go. More sex pests, rapists. But this is a problem, like, they're getting hired through all the city departments for the DEI crap. So who knows how many, and he uses his position of authority to trick the kids. It's just horrible. Horrible. I'm sure, unlike the States, he'll probably get 3 months or something. Not even, probably. Holy. All right. Next. We saw this the other day. Near the end, it was just coming out in the news. These two people charged in Halifax for concealing the body of a baby. Yeah, like this woman in Halifax. Something happened. She's in critical condition or something. She had a baby and the baby wasn't in her stomach anymore. And then these guys hid the baby. I don't know. I don't know what kind of shit they were up to. Holy. Are facing charges of concealing the body of a child. Questions remain as community first responders cope. That's a weird story. I want to read it. Like, these guys are literally the same ethnic groups into every story. Whatever, it's sextortion, confining minors. Now we got poor newborn death. All right. All right. So, remains of a newborn found in a wooded area just outside Halifax over the weekend. The baby's remains were discovered following an urgent search prompted by a 911 call about a woman in life-threatening condition who appeared to have just given birth. Halifax police said Tuesday they are still waiting on autopsy results to determine the newborn's cause of death and that they haven't been able to speak to the woman because of her condition. For residents in Halifax's Clayton Park neighborhood, where the search began, questions remain. Yeah, why was the baby found away from the mother? That's crazy. Okay. I don't know if this is the normal thing in India, but... Alright. Police said after interviewing 4 people known to the woman, they were directed to the second location about 10 kilometers away where the baby was ultimately found on Saturday afternoon. All right. Okay. Obviously there's still so many details that haven't been reported here. All right. Okay. So they're facing charges of concealing the body, indignity to human remains, resisting a peace officer, and obstruction of justice. I wonder if they're temporary residents. Singh was described to the police as a relative of the woman in hospital. The Crown said Monday that more very serious charges are possible and that the mother has been unresponsive in hospital. A bail hearing is scheduled for Thursday. A bail hearing. All right. Yeah. What's going on with these Singhs? Okay. I have no idea. There's this guy again. This is funny. This guy's rhetoric sounds exactly like Pierre Polyev. He's more respectable though than Pierre. He doesn't take his turban off to pander to white people. I like that. That's a good funny joke. Greg Wycliffe. That's totally true. He won't take his turban off. Heaven forbid we make him take the turban off. Okay. They don't want to wear the whole motorcycle helmet, so they can't take it off. All right. Fuck diversity. Yes. I'm sick of diversity, but Toronto's going to shit. They renamed the Dundas Square to Sankofa Square because it's Africa. It looks like Africa now, so I guess it's fitting. But despite the city's basically falling apart, crime, third world, transit, they say diversity is our strength. They're still pushing this. Oh my God. As a multicultural metropolis, we're always welcoming newcomers from around the world to our city. Yeah, the ones clogging up all the hotels and getting all the benefits. Toronto's like a sanctuary city. If Toronto is your new home, join us for Newcomer Day on May 29th. Learn more about the community. Newcomer Day. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. And Olivia Child's going to run again for mayor. They'll probably elect her. I like to visit Toronto, but I'm not. Apparently, Canadians aren't welcome, but it's all a newcomer day, though. All right. There's this guy again. I said about the Indians, they're going to get into city positions, okay? They're going to get into council positions. When I say city position, I mean like managing departments. You know, procurement of items and councilors and mayors. I don't think we have any, but I think we're going to get some. And then it's all going to go to shit. They're going to just turn it into India. You know, run the city department like they run it in India. You'll see. All right. And I think that's it. We'll finish with this one. This is in relation to the Canadian man sentenced in the States to 33 years. 33 years. Okay. Dear Canadians, your government imports millions of Indians, Tamils, Muslims, and other third worlders, Africans too, like Ramanan, Parthaman, and they come with their he's talking about the sextortionist. They come with their values. Their values are not our values. They see our women and children, and they're like a fox in a henhouse. When or if they get arrested, it's not by the Canadian government or police. They're too busy sending innocent citizens to Maid or to prison. The FBI had to do the work our government should have done. And then the government controlled and funded media reports that a Canadian man has committed these monstrosities. Write to your MP, demand a suspension of all immigration from third world, demand immediate remigration of the millions who do not belong here because they do not hold the values compatible with Western civilization. Yeah, you can't say that. Apparently that's a controversial statement, to not import this kind of trash, but we keep importing it. Some girl called me, some woman from Sarnia called me racist on Facebook. It was about the college suffering from the drop in student enrollment. And I said, you know, that they were part of the scam, the international student scam. Now their chickens are coming home to roost. And the lady's like, oh, you're a racist. And I always respond, move to India. Right? Because they never reply back. Because I was like, because if she moves to India, she'll probably either get raped or she'll become a total anti-Indian. I don't say racist. I say anti-Indian. So that's why I say move to India. Because either one of those two things will happen. I thought that was funny. All right. But yeah, let's import more of this We got enough trash of our own. Anyway, that's all for tonight. So we'll see you tomorrow night, probably. So until then, have a nice night.